A presidential veto is not a bill's death sentence. It's more like getting a "we need to talk" text. Scary, but not final. Right now, with a new Congress and a new administration settling in, the veto threat is basically a daily headline genre. And most people hear veto and think, well, it's over. But not necessarily. Because if Congress has the votes, the veto can turn into a speed bump, not a brick wall. And that changes how you should read the news. Welcome to Project Liberty, where we break down how your government actually works. No fog, no buzzwords, just the mechanics. Today, we're talking about what a presidential veto actually does, what happens after the veto, and how Congress can override it. By the end, you'll know the exact path a bill takes. You'll know why presidents threaten vetoes, even when they might lose. And you'll be able to spot when a veto headline is real power or just political theater. Now first, a quick refresher. A bill is a proposal that has to pass the House and the Senate in the same form. Then it goes to the president. At that point, the president has a few options. He can sign it, he can veto it, or he can do nothing for a set amount of time. Let's focus on the veto. A veto is the president saying, nope, I'm not doing this, and then sending it back to Congress with their reasons why. Here's the everyday analogy. Congress is two roommates agreeing on what to order for dinner. The president is the third roommate who controls the credit card. If they veto, they're basically saying, I'm not paying for that. But here is the key. The roommates can still get the food if they can agree strongly enough to Venmo each other and make it happen anyway. That strong enough is the override. One big clarification though, the president does not have a line item veto for most bills. That means they can't just cross out the stuff they hate and then sign the rest. It's basically an all or nothing. So no, the president can't be like, I'll take infrastructure, hold the vegetables, and remove page 472. That's not how it works. That joke sounded way better on paper. When the president vetoes a bill, it goes back to where it came from, Congress, usually to the chamber that sent it last. Then Congress has choices. They can rewrite the bill to make the president happier, they can drop it, or they can try to override the veto. Think of the veto as the president forcing Congress to answer one question. Do you want it this badly enough to do it without me? That's why veto threats matter. Sometimes the president uses a veto threat to get Congress to change the bill before it hits their desk. It's like saying, if you bring me that playlist, I'm skipping half of the songs. And sometimes veto threats are, let's call them confidence boosting. They're really meant to rally supporters, or pressure lawmakers, or dominate the news cycle. Basically, it's the political version of posting big announcement coming, and then it's just a new logo. Now for the main event, the override. To override a veto, Congress needs a 2/3 vote in both the House and the Senate. 2/3 means a supermajority, not half plus one, not we feel good about it, 2/3. Why so high? Because the Constitution is basically saying overriding a president should be hard. It's not impossible, but it is a big deal. Sports analogy time. A normal bill passing is like winning in regulation. An override is like winning while the refs are actively skeptical, the crowd is booing, and you have to score 2 more times. You need a stacked team. So what does it take in real life? It usually takes one of these situations. 1, the bill has broad bipartisan support, meaning lots of people from both parties want it. 2, the veto is politically unpopular, meaning the president looks like they're blocking something most people want. 3, the president's party doesn't have tight control of Congress, or individual lawmakers decide that the issue matters more than party loyalty. Let's make this concrete with a simple numbers example. In the House, 2/3 is 290 votes if all 435 seats are filled and everyone votes. In the Senate, 2/3 is 67 votes if all 100 senators vote. And yes, attendance can matter. If people are absent, the math can shift slightly because it's 2/3 of those present and voting in many cases. But the headline remains the same. You need a lot of votes. That's why many vetoes stick. Not because Congress loves the veto, but because 2/3 is a brutal hill to climb. Getting 2/3 of Congress to agree on anything is like getting a group chat to pick a restaurant in under 5 minutes. It can happen, but don't bet your rent money on it. That joke sucked. There's one more twist that people need to hear about. The pocket veto. A pocket veto is when the president does not sign a bill and Congress adjourns. Adjourns mean that they officially leave town and end the session of Congress. If that timing lines up, the bill can die without the normal send it back process. The simplest way to think about this is if Congress hands the president a bill and then disappears, the president can just wait it out. No signature, no override, game over. But pocket veto rules can get complicated depending on the type of adjournment. So for most day-to-day news that you hear, focus on the regular veto and the 2/3 override. So here's why you should care. A veto is leverage, and leverage shapes what ends up in the final law. If you care about taxes, healthcare, student loans, energy prices, immigration rules, or what gets funded, veto powers affects real deals. Sometimes the bill that becomes law is basically the veto-proof version, meaning it was written to survive the veto threat. So what's actionable for you? Next time you see a veto threat headline, ask yourself 2 questions. Does Congress have a 2/3 in both chambers for the bill? And if not, what changes are they going to make to avoid the veto? If you want to go one step further, look up your representative and senators and ask them directly. Are you voting to override or are you negotiating changes? That question alone forces clarity. So let me ask you, do you think Congress should need a 2/3 to override a veto? Or should it be easier? Drop your take in the comments. If this helped you read the headlines like a grown-up instead of a hostage, hit subscribe. Project Liberty is all about real-life mechanics behind the drama. Next week, we'll stay in the how it works mode and break down how Congress actually funds the government and why shutdown season keeps coming back like a show Netflix refuses to cancel. Thanks for hanging around with us. We'll see you next time.